Hello all. So till now we have seen how to manipulate existing table data using DML queries. In next few tutorials we are going to see how do we define the table structure using some DDL commands, that is data definition languages. So the first in that is we are going to see about how do we create a table in Oracle SQL. So in order to specify or to create a table, we first specify the list of column names that a table will have and along with the data type for each column. That is the most basic or simplest example structure that we can have for creating table. We can also specify some of the default values for each column, that is optional case, and if applicable we can specify some of the constraints for each of the column. For now we'll see some of the details of how do we specify column names and their data types. In the subsequent tutorials we'll see about specifying a default values and specifying constraints. So in the most basic form, the syntax for creating a table is create table, table name, then within a brackets we just specify a name of column and its data type, column data type, and so on. So one of the simplest example would be create table, then table name employee, then we specify employee number with data type as number, then name and its data type, and so on. Let's just try to execute this. Yes, so it is getting created. So right now this table is just created and it does not contain any data. So if we just write select star from employee, it will give us empty result. Okay, so before moving further we'll just quickly discuss about some of the data types that are available in Oracle. Okay, so basically there are four types of data types that are available. Number one, that is scalar, then composite, reference, and the user defined types. Scalar are something that we are going to mostly going to use this. Composite and reference and let's say user defined data types, all these three are mostly in case of PL/SQL. So for now our focus will be only on the scalar data types that are mostly can be considered as that hold a single value, we can say. Single value for one column. And in case of composite, reference and user defined data types, they can hold multiple values. Okay, so we'll just have a quick overview with scalar data types. There are basically four scalar data types, that is numeric types that are available, character data types, date, and LOB, that is large objects. In case of numeric, I have just given out some of the list of the data types that are available within each data type, but this list is not exhaustive. I have just included some of the most widely used data types in this. So in numeric the available are number, int, integer, decimal, float, and double. In character we have char, varchar2, and nvarchar2. We also have nchar for that matter. It is for fixed length. So if I say char of 6, that means the value that will be stored will occupy 6 character space. So even if I specify the value as ABC, it will be stored as ABC along with 3 spaces. So it will always use number of characters that are been assigned to it. Varchar, if I specify varchar2 of 6, then it means that is the character length is up to 6, means a value can be 1 character, 2 character, or up to 6 characters. So Each column need not take necessarily 6 characters, but up to 6. And n varchar 2 and nchar are both are similar to character and varchar 2, but these two just uh, provides us a capability to have multiple language support. Then we have a date related data types. The first one is date, that is used to store a date value. Timestamp, we use this data type if you want to store date along with time. And interval, it is used to store difference or interval difference between not exact date, we can say 2 days, 3 months sort of thing. And the last data types are large object types, that is blob, slob, blob, clob. That is, first one is binary large objects, character large objects. Blob and clob are usually used to store the binary files. In this case, if you want to store a image file, a song file, or any other documents file, then what we can use is blob data type. And if you are going to store a text based information, that is a txt file, then we use a clob. If you want to store a information such as Microsoft Word and Excel, then clob cannot be used, we have to use blob, because clob only supports characters or a text based information. It does not hold information about let's say fonts and the font size and all those things. So if you want to store a file such as PowerPoint or Word document, then you should go for blob, that is blob. Nglob, as the name suggests, it's a sort of glob data type only with a multiple language support. And B file, it is used to store the reference of a file. Means in this case, in first three lob data types, what we actually do is we store the file in a database. But in this case, we do not actually store file in database, but it is stored in our underlying operating system, and B file is just used to reference that file. Okay, so with this information, we can move on to our create table syntax. Suppose I wanted to add another column to this, let's say manager ID, and that is also number. It will give an error, because if the table is already created, you cannot have another table with same name. So if you want to create this table employee, then we'll have to first drop the existing table. Okay, so once the table is dropped, we can create a new table.